Welcome to the audio excerpts of special seminars and conversations with Nolan Narula on gettingpositivekarmanow.com.
In this context, is how much healing a person, how much a healing person does, is that determined by their karmic records, or is that completely a choice that you make?
There is an element of your karmic record as well as choice. Your karmic record is not absolute in governing what you are doing today. Your karmic record states that you have this opportunity or you have this facility, or you're due this facility and it's given to you, or you unlock a particular facility by getting connected to healing, so you unlocked something. That's your karmic record. Your destiny is not fixed in the present moment because it hasn't happened. The action is incomplete, it's in process. Past is a complete action. Present is in process, future has not happened yet at all. So even 1 microsecond in the future has not taken place. You're always that millisecond, that pulse, that 1 billionth of a nanosecond behind. So you always have options in front of you. So it's not fixed. We can say people who are ignorant of the law of karma and how to deal with karma and the science of healing yourself, basically breaking the karma code. If they can't break the karma code, then their default setting is very much governed by their karmic record. Your karmic record changes much more rapidly. Your books of karma are changing all the time, much more rapidly, simply because you have now the healing energy. So you have options. You can say many allowances which otherwise would not be available to you. You have many more types of opportunities and choices than if you did not have a healing, would not be available to you. So do not think that my past is fixed in terms of driving my present and my future. Your past is not fixed in terms of driving your present and future. If it was, then there's no use of doing healing. Then karma will never finish. But the Vedas tell us that out of the 5 key elements of the universe, only karma is not eternal. You understand? The universe is eternal, the divine is eternal, you are eternal, right? Time is eternal, and karma is there, which is not eternal. That's 5. So karma is not eternal in terms of binding consequences. Karma in terms of action continues, but it becomes binding consequence free. That's the point. So the essence of the teachings of the Vedas as far as karma is concerned is this. And from this expands all the other knowledge about karma. How to crack the karma code. So you can crack the karma code with healing. There's no fixed. There are certain things that are hardwired into your physiognomy. That is fixed. You're genetically male gender, female gender. Psychologically and emotionally you may be a different gender than your body. Okay? That's also, you can say, genetically predisposed. So these are things that are within the range of what one might consider the normal or the norm. You understand? If you read the Bhagavatam, you'll find that when Lord Brahma was creating the universe, and he created, or would say activated living beings through his mental body. And one of the first mental bodies that created were people who ran to have sex with him. They were homosexuals. That was one of the first creations. So, it's not something that is not within the range of the universe. And think, that is probably one of the first few creations that came out from Lord Brahma's mental body. So when people talk about it being unnatural and this and that, it's not really. So all this vast expanse of the universe with so much diversity is all part of God's creation. He says, everything comes from me, the good as well as the bad. But I don't create the bad. Everything rests in me, he says, not comes from me directly. Everything rests in me. It gets its strength and basis from him. The universe is running according to his desire. And there is a principle of natural justice that is encoded in the law of karma. And the whole point of the justice system is to reform. So the reformatory process is key. And what is the reform? That we do not wrongfully take another's possessions or position. So the first offense is thinking that I can be without the support of the divine in the sense of being independent, and then I can also be like the divine. So that is wrongful appropriation of position, wrongful appropriation of action, you can say, or responsibility, or what is somebody else's share. You can't have. So the divine says, okay, you want to play at being God, I'll create a universe for you. And it is said that in the, most of the creation is spiritual universe. And once in a while, like a cloud, a hazy cloud-like substance appears in the sky of the spiritual world. And there Lord Vishnu goes, and then he, from his body, he sends out moisture and creates the ocean, the causal ocean in which he rests on the bed of Anantashesh. And then he dreams and he meditates, and the creation comes out of the pores of his skin, billions of universes every time he breathes out, and when he breathes back in, they all go back, and then he breathes out and they breathe in. And he meditates, and there was a very interesting question, that what does he meditate on? So he was meditating on the teachings of Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. It was highly confidential, detailed teachings of Krishna spoken on the battlefield. That's what Lord Vishnu is meditating on. So when people talk about, this scripture, that scripture, they are forgetting that this is the direct word of the divine, spoken at a time and a place, meant to uplift all of humanity. And people are arguing about, other things which are irrelevant. And if you look at his specific teachings in the Bhagavad Gita, you don't really need to understand anything else, because that is perfect knowledge. The other is scholarship for you, or expansion of your knowledge base, but ultimately it is all focused single-pointedly to the Bhagavad Gita and the teachings therein. And you expand those teachings into your daily life and you will be fine. So you need that understanding, that is your primary scripture, primary law book. There are many others. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu is the law book governing Vaishnava and devotional behavior. So that is another study of a different type in terms of how to socially interact with people. So there are many supplementaries in that sense. But the key information is in the Bhagavad Gita. You will find everything there. Understand the meaning of the words as they are. Forget about commentaries. If you read commentaries, you may get confused, or you want to compare with different acharyas, you can do that. But if you try and understand through a good bona fide source, what is the meaning of the words and what is the actual teaching saying to us, how are we supposed to apply these principles in our daily life? It's not difficult. A couple of years back we had given in the thoughts for the day, the action thoughts, some explanations of the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Some very key points to understand about duty, about karma, about what's right, what's wrong. You can study those. Study the 4th chapter if you like. Okay? So I'm here for a few minutes more. Any questions? Yes?
Just a small question.
You've been listening to a discussion with Nala Narula on www.gettingpositivekarmanow.com.